do have, you know, safety's got to be number one, Mike, and you said that too, right?
Yes.
Obviously. And I guess, Neil, you could answer it too. Do we have vehicles capable of handling this over 600 pounds? It shouldn't be the minimum, I agree with you. Actually, if it can be safely done, this lady should not be denied service. But safety for her and safety getting her on there has to be of utmost consideration. We don't want to be denying services.
I'd like to address, if you could, by Shelley, I'm not as familiar with the specifics of the equipment.
Okay, sure.
Different lifts have different capabilities, and as you have heard, we have an aging fleet. Many of our lift vehicles are as old as 12 years old. Average age is approximately 7. It is so. The short answer is some are capable, many are capable, but we do have concerns about stress fractures to the lift. We have already seen at least 2 of our older lift vehicles in which we had metal fatigue, and we're seeing cracks in the lift. And so for us, it is imperative that we do everything we can to extend the life of those vehicles and reduce metal fatigue. It is a difficult decision when you're looking at anyone who's right on the edge. Staff didn't take this decision lightly. We looked at what the ADA requires. We looked at what our equipment needs are. We looked at the overall capacity of what our vehicles are capable of hauling as far as overall passenger weight, and what our employees do when they interact with our vehicle customers on lift. And it wasn't an easy decision, but it's the decision that we reached.
Shelley, I see in her comments here, she said she's willing to stand, and her family was able to help her, would help her into it?
That was her daughter.
Her daughter. Would that lessen the...
It comes down to the overall weight, that overall weight. So it could very well be if she could work with lift staff, and if there was a way she could board outside. The question is, could she board outside of the chair? And once the chair was on, that's certainly something that staff could look at.
Well, you know, I don't want to play with it, but I mean, certainly we can accommodate something to get this lady needs a lift. So we need to do something to help her out on, you know, I'm saying, she said she would, and her daughter would help her in there, and that would lessen the, matter of fact, then she comes under the 600-pound weight requirement, so then she couldn't be denied service. So.
And sometimes the heart of the issue is with the actual device itself, not what type of equipment that the users select. My understanding is we were able to provide lift services prior to the purchase of this particular chair. So there could be different cases where with a different mobility device, or as I wasn't aware that the daughter could help get her on without being in a chair. The issue is just what is the overall combined weight on the lift itself when it makes the maneuver. Just like we'll have people who will ride with an attendant, and the attendant will board the lift separately. The person in the mobility device will board, and then the person who's the attendant will board separately in order to stay below that threshold.
Shelley, do we have any idea how many people fall into this category? I mean, of denial of service for reasons of exceeding the weight limits that we've established, weight parameters and good stuff?
I don't have a number for you today. Less than 5%. I'm told it's less than 5%.
Well, I think we should work very hard on this, Mr. Chairman. Whether it's 1 or 100, if we've got somebody that needs a service, I don't think we should be picking shit with the chickens here. And if they can meet the 600 pounds limit, and that's the minimum. I mean, I don't know what the maximum is, but if she can meet the minimum, then let's get this lady the service she needs.
What I would suggest is that we and lift staff work with our customer to see what we can look at, and we'd be happy to report back to you.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for that, and it goes beyond Berry Roads. We're looking to advocate for all people with disabilities, and at the ADA celebration, there are people that found out that I'm working on this issue. I had a gentleman that's been turned down that has brittle bones. He's been put on conditional lift service, and the criteria to stay on a lift ride, I'm sorry to say, but it made no sense to me because it was so simple for him to claim one of these issues and basically have unconditional lift service. So, you know, is staff trying to show that they're making more conditional rides, but yet truly they're not, they're still truly unconditional? That's a question. I spoke with a CAT member who also works at ILR, Independent Living Resources, Patricia Kepler. They're getting complaints in and over at ILR about people being taken off of full lift service, partial or denied. This is going to be a very growing issue. And again, TriMet has been bragging for years about over and above minimal service. This is one of the areas that TriMet should be bragging about, fully reaching the spirit of the ADA. And also, if you read the email, which is in the packet from Shelley Lomax, in the last 2 years, there's only 2 vehicles with stress cracks. 2 in 2 years. With, I believe the fleet's now, what, 250 plus vehicles? It's less than 1%, if my figures are correct. This should not be a major issue. You should expect metal fatigue as the vehicles age. So you take a torch or whatever and you repair it. You don't deny people the service that they need. The disability community is going to be very adamant about this. And Neil, I hate to put it this way, but this is one of your first tests. And there are lots of people that heard you at the meeting, came to me at the meeting, and we're going to be watching this closely. I've asked for a response back within 15 working days from today. And I truly hope that the board and the general manager can come up with something for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
as I've listened to the discussion, and I think a lot of the things you said I do have concern about, but also want to ask that you would look on the other side. If that we've only had 2 vehicles in a period of time that have shown stress, maybe it's because of the precautionary things that have been taken to reduce it. I didn't come to argue, I just want to ask you to look on the other side. Because of that. Also, there might be a possibility, and I don't know, this is something that we can look into when you talk about the leaning of the bus. Maybe there could be stabilizing units put on the bus to be lowered, stabilizing vehicle in terms of making the lift. Overall, my great concern would be to provide the services, but also to maintain safety. For instance, the person you mentioned that has the very brittle bones. I would hate to lift that person, then something happened to that individual's bones, and then TriMet is blasted in the news again of injuring a person by providing a service, and then we have a whole lot of other issues that come. Withstanding all of that, I am committed to seeing that whatever we can do in TriMet to provide the services for the ADA to its utmost, I want to back and do that. But also, I want you to understand, I will be looking with an eye for safety and security of all, both TriMet as well as for the passengers, citizens that we must provide the service for. Thank you.